Keir Starmer talked about an island of strangers. Do you think that there needs to be more done?
He said we didn't want to become an island of strangers, and of course community cohesion and integration is important, and the government are taking steps to look at English requirements, but we absolutely can't lose sight of the contribution for decades that we have seen from immigration. I'm a Derby MP and really proud of that contribution, which isn't just in the NHS but also in our industries, and so.
But I don't think anyone's necessarily arguing with that, are they? They're talking about how much you adopt,
and it's about how you
the culture of the country.
And I think that language is a huge part of that, to enable people to fully be able to appreciate and be a part of our communities, and I think that's right. But I certainly wouldn't want to see kind of pulling down, tearing down or emptying properties when we've had so little building of especially social housing and affordable housing for so long. And I'd much rather welcome, as I do, the 39 billion that we'll see to build more affordable and social housing.
Alex, what do you make of what you saw in that documentary?
Tonight, one single phrase has sent shockwaves through British politics: an island of strangers. Those words, spoken at the heart of the immigration and integration debate, have ignited a firestorm about identity, culture, and the future of community in this country. Are we still moving together as one nation, or quietly drifting apart? That's the question millions of people are now asking.
And do you think it applies in any way to what's happening in this country?
Of course it applies to this country. We already have balkanised communities, and that spells out a great peril for the future of societal integration. And you've got similar policies being adopted in Sweden. These are sort of proposals that are now being looked into across Europe, because we've realised what's happened with levels of immigration and lack of integration. It's creating social disquiet and disharmony to the point in which people are even starting to use words such as civil war, for crying out loud. Now, I think there is nothing wrong with defending your national cultural mores, your communal morality, and I think that that's what we need to be doing. I fully agree we need to ban the full face covering, which they've done in Denmark. I think that is absolutely right. I think that is a barrier for integration if you're not making eye contact. English language is vitally important. I think we need to look at the amount of translation services we offer. I personally would go as far as getting rid of faith schools that are not Catholic or C of E, which tend to allow children from other faiths to come in, because I don't think taking children away and educating them primarily in their own cultural context is healthy. And I personally would also go as far as banning the slaughter of animals that haven't been pre-stunned. And I'd say to anybody who says, well,
the government insists cohesion and integration remain a priority. English language requirements are being reviewed, and ministers are stressing that shared communication is essential to shared values. And let's be clear, even the strongest defenders of border control acknowledge the enormous contribution immigration has made over decades, from the NHS to manufacturing, transport, and care. The success stories are real. The gratitude is real. No serious voice is denying that. But the conversation has shifted. The argument now isn't simply about who comes here. It's about how fully people are able to take part in the life of the country once they arrive. Language, culture, participation, and shared civic norms have moved center stage. And many voters say this isn't about rejection, it's about connection. They don't want parallel societies. They want shared ones. Then comes the housing pressure, and this is where tensions sharpen. After years of underbuilding, rising rents, and collapsing access to social housing, the government is now pointing to a £39 billion plan to deliver more affordable and social homes. Supporters say this is the only way to relieve pressure and restore fairness. Critics say it's too late and too slow. Either way, the shortage is fueling anger on all sides. And at the center of this storm sits one uncomfortable truth: defending national culture is no longer seen as toxic by huge parts of the public. They're saying there is nothing wrong with protecting shared norms, shared values, and shared rules, as long as it's done fairly, respectfully, and without targeting people simply for who they are. The balance is delicate, and right now, it feels dangerously unstable. Because this isn't just about immigrants. It's about schools, streets, neighborhoods, workplaces, and trust. It's about whether people feel they still belong to a single national story, or whether they're being sorted into separate ones that never truly meet. And once that sense of common purpose fades, repairing it becomes infinitely harder. So tonight, the debate isn't really about housing, or language tests, or one politician's choice of words. It's about the future shape of Britain itself, a shared home, or an island of strangers. And the decisions being made right now will decide which one we become.